Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're going to be taking a look at a game that came out a couple of years ago that I actually helped work on, and it's a game called Scourge of War Waterloo. It is the sequel to Scourge of War Gettysburg, which itself is from the Take Command lineage. And this is a game that looks at the Battle of Waterloo as well as any of the other battles in Waterloo if you have the Collector's Edition, including like Wavre or Ligny or Quatre Bras, the other battles in the 100 Days campaign. But those are also available as DLC if you don't have the Collector's Edition. But this is a game I'm going to be playing today. I haven't played it in a while, so I'm going to be a little bit rusty. We're going to play a little bit. We're going to play some shorter scenarios. We'll probably play one brigade and one division battle. Now, I'll probably break those into two different battles, or two different videos here for the YouTube channel. This was taken from a live stream from my Twitch channel from just a couple days back. And I hope you're a little forgiving, because it's the first time I've played the game in a while. Again, I was involved in development, but I was never a great player. I really struggle with managing cavalry and squares, but I think it's a cool game in terms of the scope and the way things look and whatnot, and I wanted to share a little bit. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. We're going to be looking at a brigade-size battle today. And again, I'll just jump right back into the live stream, because this was taken from a Twitch live stream from the other day. All right, so I have the Collector's Edition of Scourge of War Waterloo. This is an edition of the game that bundles in all the DLC packs. You can play multiplayer, you can play single player. There's an ability to load mods. I don't think I have any installed right now, so we're just going to jump into the single player. There's a sandbox campaign where you kind of can basically pick out your units that you want to fight with, and then you march around a map of sort of Belgium, as you will. Taking different roads and whatnot, and maneuvering to try and get to certain objectives, and obviously the enemy will try and stop you. So it kind of lets you model the operational level combat before you even get into the tactical battles. But we're actually just going to play the historical scenarios, because that's where I think this game and all the Scourge of War games really shine. So we're going to do that. There's a sandbox option also, and obviously user scenarios can be generated also. But we're going to do the Waterloo battles. A little bit of a deceiving title there, because this is the Collector's Edition, so actually Scourge of War Waterloo just comes with the French and the Allied scenarios, as well as the other stuff I just mentioned. But then there's DLC packs for Quatre Bras, Ligny, and Wavre, or Wavre? I don't know how to pronounce that. I think I got Ligny right, at least. The Ligny, the major battle against the Prussians, Napoleon's really his last victory a couple of days before Waterloo. Quatre Bras was a smaller engagement occurring at the same time as Ligny between some elements of the Duke of Wellington's forces. And then you've got Wavre, which is the rearguard action against the Prussians on the same day as the Battle of Waterloo. But then you've got sort of the big daddy, if you will, the Battle of Waterloo from both the French and the Allied perspectives. You've got a wide range of scenarios in the game which allow you to sort of look at the battle from a bunch of different vantage points. You have brigade-size scenarios, which are much more manageable. You know, you've got a couple of battalions of infantry, if you will, but you're not commanding huge swaths of troops. You've got division-size battles, which are a little bit larger, you know, a couple of brigades at your command. You've got corps-size battles, which get absolutely huge, 20,000 plus men on the screen that you're fighting with. And then you also have one army-sized battle that lets you fight the entire battle from 11:30 a.m., roughly when the battle started, to the conclusion at the end of the day. And this one is, I believe, well, they all are, but they're fought out sort of in real time, if you will. So you can fight with roughly 100,000 soldiers, up to 100,000 soldiers can engage. I can't remember if there was a variant put into this that actually includes Grouchy arriving. I don't think so, but I could be wrong. And then there's obviously the British side is similar. It looks like the British side has, I mean, they both have the same number of scenarios. They're slightly different scenarios, and the British also have a battle of the entire Battle of Waterloo, where you command the entire force here. So this is pretty huge. We're going to probably start small. We'll probably do a couple of scenarios tonight, just because I have not honestly played Scourge of War Waterloo in probably a year and a half. So I'm going to be very rusty, and I don't think I'm going to be very good. So I think we'll start off on a battle that I actually have shown on my YouTube channel in the past, and that's going to be a brigade-size scenario from the French perspective, where, well, actually, maybe we should do from the British perspective. We can do a 30-minute size scenario from the British perspective. So we could do that. We could do the Hunters. So we could be. I think this is the exact alternate. So in this one, you can see the French Baudin's brigade is going to attack the woods in front of the Chateau de Hougoumont, which was sort of this strong position of fortified buildings, of sort of a cluster of buildings on the Allied army's right flank on the French left that the French sort of got sucked into sending more and more troops into. It was a little bit of, it was not the downfall in of itself of Napoleon, but it definitely spent a large amount of his infantry when he really only wanted it to be a diversionary attack. Anyway, the French scenario, Waterloo 01, the Emperor's plan, involves a brigade of French troops attacking the woods in front of the Hougoumont, although you don't have to take the Hougoumont itself. The British version of the battle is giving you a brigade of troops under MacDonald in front of the Hougoumont in these woods, and then you also have some troops in the fortification itself. Both of the scenarios are 30 minutes long. Both the scenarios' difficulty level is rated as green, so for newer players, and maybe it'll be fun to play this as the allies here. So you can see here, each scenario gives you a little bit of a write-up here about what what the situation is. So obviously you get sort of the write-up as if you're Wellington for the army-size battle, but for the brigade-size battle, it says the general in command, Sir Arthur Wellesley, has ordered the garrisoning of 3 farms along the Allied line: Hougoumont on the right, La Haye-Sainte in the center, and the Pepelot on the left. You have just been made overall garrison commander of Hougoumont. Your troops are made up of various detachments: Dutch Jaegers, the Hunters, German Nassau companies, as well as your own Coldstream Guards. The Chateau de Hougoumont, or Hougoumont, is a large farm complex with several buildings and high walls, a great defensive position. Just as your Jaegers take up position in the woods, you spot enemy movement to the south. Mission: your primary objective is to hold the woods south of Hougoumont. If you are forced to fall back, garrison your forces in the chateau buildings. So there you go. You can see here the units that we have at our disposal. We've got the 1-2-1 foot guards, 3-1 foot guards, some Nassau troops, Jaegers, light Grubenhagen, light Lüneburg, 1,040 total infantrymen. Victory conditions: our score that we want to score is 1,500 for a major victory, 0 or less is a major defeat, and 500 is a minor defeat. So basically, to win, we've got to score 1,000 points or better. You get points for holding positions for longer periods of time, and for inflicting casualties on the enemies. Okay. Then you get a little bit of biographical data about Sir James Macdonald, his sort of write-up of him down here. You get that for every battle. So again, Army, you can see you get the write-up of the Duke of Wellington down here, and then you also kind of get, in the Duke of Wellington's characters, it does even tell you, like, hey, you're fighting with 73,000 men. Expect lower frame rates at the end of this battle. And you can see the scoring conditions are very different. But anyway, we're going to do this first battle here. It is Waterloo 11, I guess. They count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 10 French scenarios, 10 Allied scenarios. It's 11:30, June 18th, 1815. Let's go ahead and launch. Hey there, coffee filter. I just realized this now. I'm probably going to get copyright strikes because of the music. Or I might. I don't know if I will or not. But I feel like classical music like this always ends up being like copyright strikes. Whoops. No! Okay, so first things first, you get a courier message. You're ordered to hold the woods south of Hougoumont. If you're overwhelmed, you may take shelter in the farm buildings, but fall back to the farm only if your situation becomes critical. All right, so there's my character. One of the things with this game is you always represent a specific character or a specific general on the field. So that's something that's a little bit different about this game compared to some of the like Take Command games or Ultimate General games. If your character dies, you lose the battle, or the battle ends right then and there. So you can see here as we zoom out, the French forces arrayed in front of us. We can see French skirmishers are coming forward here. There's the French line. You can see the French army from left to right. Quite a large force, although fortunately they're not going to be sending all these troops in against us, I don't think, in this particular fight. You can see the objective here is this sort of wreathed item with the flag. And then I can get rid of trees by hitting T to get things a little bit easier to view, but you can see we've got the 1st Brigade up front with these troops in line. On the left, we've got the detachments of the Coldstream Guard. On the right, I think these are Nassau troops. To our rear, we have the Hougoumont back here, as well as the rest of the Allied armies arrayed along the ridge line back here. Again, I turned the trees off, but you can see the Allied armies back here. All right, so we have some troops already garrisoned. We've got the 6th 2nd Grenadier Nassau Usingen already in the fort. You can see fort capacity is not even near full. Fort damage is required to kind of tick this up to get kicked out of the fort. Right now, it's suffered no damage. We also have some troops here that are on the walls that are sort of, I think they're in skirmish formation by the looks of it. Although maybe it's a line, I'm not sure. Sounds like fighting has already begun. Meanwhile, I'm going to have this British battalion move back into the Hougoumont. I think that'll move them into the Hougoumont. I'm also going to move up this battalion, light company here. And you can see we're engaged with the enemy. Now, we're in line formation. He's in skirmisher, so it means we're going to do less damage to him. You can also see up on the top left, here's where the range is that we're currently engaged at. So not going to be very effectual fire at 140 yards with smoothbores. But I'm going to move up my, my other battalions here to support. And I'm actually going to move these guys. Whoa. I'm going to move these guys over here. I have to remember where all the buttons are. It's been a while since I've played. We'll move them in column formation and then have them move into line when they get there. There's a square formation. There's the line formation. Can't remember how to wheel. It's been so damn long. Alright, so these guys are advancing. We can go ahead and halt them here. You can see the French are deploying troops in line coming directly at us. Again, hiding the trees makes it easier to see what's going on, but there's a strong formation that's going to be coming after us. You can see the dirt kicked up by enemy artillery shells. I can zoom down. Whoa! I'm holding control to sort of pivot around the map, but we can even view things from a ground level here. Now, these aren't 3D sprites, just for point of fact, so you're not going to see a comparison in graphical quality to something like Total War. These are actually 2D sprites that are sort of made in like a paint-type program. And that's because with the sheer number of units, you may not see it, you may not agree with it on this particular battle, but with the sheer number of units that you can get in these battles, especially when you're fighting with the entire army, it makes things a little bit kludgy and slow if you were to have all of these be true 3D sprites. So you do see a little bit of a mixture with this game where it's some of the buildings and things are 3D, but the actual soldiers tend to be 2D because of different system, I guess, decisions. Let's bring these guys up also. Move them up on column to support the left flank. You can see these guys are not doing very well. They have a -4 grade. They have inflicted 1 casualty, and they've taken 5. There is a campaign map, Hamish, where you can do like a sandbox campaign and march around a map, but there's no building your army. This is a game that really focuses on fighting scenarios, fighting battles, and while there is some option between sandbox battles to have a little bit more freedom of movement, or between the sandbox campaign where you can actually march around a map that generates different battlefields in Belgium. It's not something like Total War where you're going to control like your whole economy or anything like that. Okay, so you can see the Coldstream Guards are engaged on our right. They were suffering pretty badly. I think they may have taken some flank fire from these skirmishers as they moved. You can see the French are moving their lines forward here into the woods. We're still in the woods here, but we are massively outnumbered. We are going to get thrust back here before too long. Hopefully we can hold on. I'm going to move these guys on the double quick. That's going to fatigue them a little bit. They should really be moving in column formation. Again, the trees, I love playing with the trees on because it really gives you a sense of that, like, difficulty in fog of war. The French didn't really know what was back here at the Hougoumont. They didn't really know historically what was all back here. They didn't, I don't believe anyway, in the actual battle. But so they kind of got surprised when they ran into it for the first time. Okay, so you can see we're in line. All of us are firing. We're engaged heavily. You can see above the units, so these guys are shooting at any unit with a target above it. Obviously, the units that are further forward are going to take more damage. How tired are these guys? Their fatigue is still pretty good. Let's double quick them up. They've got a pretty good size unit here. What are they, 135 men? These guys are just basically company strength. 60 men, 30 men, 70 men. They're fighting against a French regiment that, or battalion that's probably like 1,000 men. I believe also this, right now you see 1-to-1 sprite, so each one of these represent, oh, not quite 1-to-1. It might, that's not 28, so it might be, it's like 4-to-1. All right. So you can see here the overall score of our commander right now is 554. We are losing more men. We've lost 83 casualties to 29 inflicted. But every minute that we hold, we get a bonus of points here. So you can see the score going down as we take casualties, but then when that goes down to 0, we get 100 more points here. So we basically get 100 points for every minute that we hold the line. Oh, shit. No, 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 no. No! God damn it. I just kind of fucked up my firing line. That's gonna hurt. I don't know why they're facing that way. Why aren't these guys engaged? Why is your flank exposed? Alright, so we just had the first of our Coldstream Guard units pushed back here. I'm going to replace it with this detachment, but you can see these guys are pulling back. Negative 56 score, 33 casualties inflicted. They lost more than half their strength as they retreat. Their morale here is very far down. We also have this Nassau regiment, which is getting driven back. These Coldstream Guards are also falling back. Although their morale is still pretty good. So we are getting pushed back. We do have some extra reserves back here that I didn't realize. You can see here they're moving around our right flank a little bit. Large formation here. God, I wish I could play with the trees on, but like on this brigade level battle, you can't see anything really. Trees are a little bit transparent, which helps. None of my troops are doing well. This one regiment here is doing a little bit better in terms of casualties. 152 casualties received, 39 inflicted. Now the French are moving to our left. Alright, so these Coldstream Guards are actually okay morale-wise. So I'm going to bring them back up to the objective to see if we can't hold for a little bit longer. We'll move them in column formation. Their fatigue isn't bad. And these Jaegers have reformed a little bit as well. So we'll move them up as well. Units will also sort of alter their formation and their orders based on their own characteristics and their own officers' characteristics. So sometimes officers will disregard your orders. There is an option to take command where you basically get them to do whatever you want them to do. But you can see here they're moving up close. We're continuing to try and hold. We've got these 2 battalions moving in. Again, the objective is here, so we're continuing to try and hold here. Casualties are mounting, though. We're up to roughly 200 casualties. Good morale considering their situation. Yeah, I'd say so. But again, factor in, I mean, right now, if we look at the tree line, they may not have a good picture. Like, these soldiers on the ground here probably don't have a great picture of their situation. Like, they know there's bad guys coming, but they can't see the whole French army. All right, so these Jaegers are being pushed back. Come on, boys. Get up to the objective. We got to hold this magical wood line. All right, I guess we'll just pivot you guys over this way, because that's where you want to go. You can also detach skirmishers from regiments as well, to put skirmishers out front to screen your movements and other things like that. You can hear some shell coming in with that shh. Where are those other troops I ordered up? All right, so these fresh boys here of 135 more men are coming up to support. As long as you can't see the whole French army. I mean, I can see probably more than I should. We've got, you know, lines of French troops out this way. There's a limit, by the way, how far you can move from your own commander. So at 1,000, remember, 1,000 points is what we need for a victory. 1,500 for a major victory. I don't remember what button you press to speed things up. There is a way, I believe, to compress time a little bit. But it's only a 30-minute scenario, so... Alright, so those guys just got driven back. We're going to bring these boys up here. Fresh, 135 men. Move them at the double. I'm going to take command here to make sure that they actually listen to me. These troops are still running. I don't think these guys are going to be rallied. I think they're gone. They're going to run off the battlefield. I don't know about this regiment. Their morale isn't much better. They may rout from the field as well. We also do have another regiment back here behind the walls, which we could send. We have 2 regiments currently inside the Hougoumont. The fort is taking some damage from enemy artillery, apparently. Alright, so we got these men into position here, so they should be able to hopefully slow up the enemy advance. 135 muskets isn't bad. Meanwhile, we're up over 1,000 points despite the casualties that we're taking. The Coldstream Guard on the right flank are actually doing a really good job of holding their position. The troops up front here, these guys are... I just saw their morale drop. They're going to break. And this company here of 27 men, or what's left of them, is definitely going to break as well. How many men are past the trees, General? I don't know! Hold your line. They're moving another battalion out here to the left. I always mix battalion and regiment up. It's very confusing to me, someone not super versed in Napoleonics and much more familiar with the American Civil War. Another regiment's gone! God damn it, boys. Hold your lines. I'm going to bring these men up. Pull them off the walls here in the courtyard to the right of the Hougoumont. A huge battalion sweeping in from the left. Or from, actually, our right. Can these guys engage anything? Oh, wait. They are engaging these guys. So, these men in the Hougoumont, it represents the whole building complex. So, they are going to fire into the flank of these guys. So we've got 100 men there. And 129 here. So 219 muskets will fire into the flank of these men as they try and advance. Meanwhile, the only men left in the line are the fresh troops, the 135 men that I moved up. Everybody else has been pushed back. We're continuing to try and hold. Move up on the double. You don't look like you're moving on the double. Guess you are moving through a wood line. Oh, now they're moving on the double. Meanwhile, these guys did rally, so it looks like maybe they were just not super happy about their position. So we're going to push them forward as well, because we can't leave these 135 men out here all on their own. Their flank is going to get crushed if I'm not careful. These guys look like they're obliquing in on the flank. So we're going to sprint these troops in, these Nassau Usans. Alright, form into line. Get up there. Get up there, my lads. Get up there. You're off the walls. They probably were sitting back here thinking they were all pretty, sitting on the wall there, holding their position, and now they're getting thrust right into the thick of it. Still holding that objective here. They've taken 2 casualties as they race into position, but now they're ready and they're going to be firing into the enemy. Okay, you guys need to move quickly. As soon as this line unit here opens up, these guys are going to be in a world of hurt. They're already 59 casualties to 12. Here it comes. You can see men dropping. Poiesti, yes, I am fighting against the French. Meanwhile, the Irish Mailman, thanks for the follow. Duck with Shades, thanks for the follow. Elders Wolves, thanks for the follow as well. Alright, so they're in range, right? They should be engaging. There they go. Okay, so they're going to fire. These guys will not last long, I don't think. I think we've got like 16 minutes left or so, probably, in this battle. Oh my god, I just saw like 12 of them drop. Oh, look at all the bodies falling! Again, it's not a 1-to-1, so a man will fall and they'll be on the field there as a casualty, but they won't. You know, sometimes it doesn't look like the unit's actually shrinking, but you can see they've already lost 2/3 of their strength. Somehow they're still there they go. Did those other Coldstream Guards reform themselves at all? No, I think they ran. Maybe they did reform themselves, but they're so far out of the fight. So these troops are taking casualties, but they're not actually shooting back. What's up with that? Or they're not very effective in their shooting back. Alright, we might need to pull back. It looks like there is an objective point over the Hougoumont at this point. I'm not getting any points for it because only generals can capture points for objectives, but we've lost the woods. So we'll move our general back this way. Run, boys! Retreat! I don't think I left enough men. I'll order these guys to retreat. Where's the button to retreat? How about you just run? I thought R was a... Nope, you're going the wrong way. Alright, so Colonel James McDonnell is falling back to the Hougoumont. I don't know if he can go in the Hougoumont. You can see we've got... Actually, we've got, by the looks of it, no, we've got 2 units in there. They're firing, they're just not doing much damage. Get the hell out of there. Those guys are probably broken beyond recovery. These men are flying back. Oh wait, no, they must be routed. Why are they coming back this way? That's weird. So we've lost the woods. Trying to get him back there. Do I not have enough men in the fort? I'm not 100% sure what I need to do to start holding the objective. Do I have to be in the fort? So you can see those troops are engaged. We'll put these men up on the walls. Hopefully they can delay the French a little bit. Where are you guys going? You're going the wrong way. Alright, so our general is holding the position now. I can't actually see where he went. Hopefully we don't get overrun here. There he is. Alright, so we're just shy of 1,000 points, which is the victory point. I'm hoping we'll get there after this next 30-second or so period here. You can see these men are up on the firing steps here at the Hougoumont. We can sort of bring the woods back now. Apparently these guys decided to retreat toward the enemy so they could get captured. God damn it. So much for the Coldstream Guards. So now you can see here we're back here. Alright, so we're back over 1,000 points. I think as long as I can hold here, I should be okay. The fort can hold up to 3,000 soldiers. You can see it's starting to burn, which represents there is some damage being taken by the fort. It's up to 4 ticks here. It's not super clear. It has to get all the way to the right here, I believe. I'm not sure if the troops will get kicked out before then or not. I mean, I suppose if they take enough casualties, they could retreat. But forts are very difficult to take in this game because you can't directly assault them. You kind of have to pound the enemy until they withdraw, which is, in my opinion, not the perfect way to model it. On the flip side, like, that is kind of realistic with the way that the Hougoumont was structured. Like, you couldn't really... They tried to break through. They had no chance. The fort does fire back, P. Warner. Yes, they are shooting back. Just not very effectively. But they are shooting back. So I'm wondering if I should have been watching the fort to see the second that it be opened up for an objective point, if I shouldn't have pulled back my troops to save what forces I could. I'm not sure how many minutes left we have in this fight. Probably about 8. Looks like it's 11:52, and I think it's a 30-minute battle. Also, it doesn't look like we get as many points for the Hougoumont as we got from the woods. I think it's maybe 75 points for the Hougoumont, whereas it was 100 points a minute in the woods. This is, you know, this is sort of the difficulty in trying to show something like this off, as it may seem a little stale because we're playing literally in real time, and we're only commanding a brigade, so there's only so much to do right now. The bigger scenarios are quite hectic. But I haven't played this thing in like 2 years, so I wanted to show something I could at least hopefully competently have a chance of winning the battle. Okay. So I don't think we have a chance to win a major victory. I think we took too many casualties. But we should be able to win a minor victory, I think. Oh, it's only 50 points per minute. So with only having another 6 minutes that we can hold, at the most we can get to is 1,300. So I don't think mathematically at this point we can win. I'm trying to remember what the button was to speed things up. Oh, it's the plus symbol. Okay, so we'll speed things up here a little bit. Apparently we lost the fort for a second there, but then we got it back. Also, it looks like another one of our Coldstream units has arrived. I don't know if we got more reinforcements. I wasn't paying close attention, but we have 149 new troops that just showed up. Oh, reinforcements are coming in. So I don't get to command these troops, by the way. These are AI troops. But you can see reinforcements are coming in. Well, the Duke of Wellington has sent reserves down, so they have added more troops to the fort. So the fort should be very secure from falling now. You can see another line unit here of about 900 men under Major General Sir John Byng is coming down and moving into the fort. Our troops are in the courtyard over here on the left flank, holding out. And you can see the French attempted to come up to this wall, but they were driven back by both the fire they're receiving from the fort and along this line here. Again, we sped the time up here, so this one's going to be wrapping up in a minute or two. But you can see we're packing in the fort. The capacity's almost maxed out. The AI's brought up a bunch of reinforcements. So we'll win a minor victory here. All right, everybody, and that's going to do it for this video here. You can see the battle is just wrapping up. It's going to be a minor victory for us, not a major one. We took too many casualties in the woods. I tried to hold that forward position for too long. I think it would have been better served to fall back to the Hougoumont. In any event, we'll probably get the same result out of the battle historically as the British had. They were driven out of the woods. They retreated into the farmhouses, and then they held there, and the French were not able to press on. And that's kind of what you're seeing here. This was a brigade-sized battle. As I said, there are much larger battles where you can play for hours and hours on end in complete real time. Because it was only a brigade battle, there wasn't a ton to show. But I wanted to keep something smaller, something more manageable to kind of help show some of the game off without being overly lost and confusing if you'd never seen it before, and frankly, just because I haven't played it in like 2 years. So I did want to go ahead and play something that I had a chance of winning, and we did win the battle, so that's a good victory for us. We took way more casualties. We took over 500 casualties to something like 100 some odd for the enemy, but we held the position, and at the Battle of Waterloo, that's what matters, right? Wellington wasn't too worried about how many men he was losing. Indirectly he was, because it would limit his ability to continue to hold. But at the end of the day, holding the Hougoumont was critical, regardless of the cost, and he needed to buy time for the Prussians to show up. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts down below, and until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying, once again, thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm out.